Good afternoon. This is Ron Kubitz, past president of the PHRA, and we're lucky to have with us today Anthony Griggs, who's going to do our closing keynote at our annual conference. Anthony, welcome and thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. Anthony is the founder and owner of AdSquared Networks. He's also a professional trainer and coach, and an ex-NFL football player and coach as well. So we're glad to have you. You're going to give our closing keynote. It's called HR's a Sport, Win It. For those that were not fortunate enough to be here today, can you give maybe a little overview of what the presentation is, Anthony?
Sure. As you talked about, my background being in athletics, I've been through a lot and seen a lot of things as a player and being part of a team and being part of a league. And with that, it brings some ideas of how you can be successful at each of those levels. Well, HR, you hit a little bit of everything with HR. You're bringing in people, you're assessing them, you're doing the same thing as a team, evaluating them, and seeing if they can be part of your team, if they fit in. Well, I think that HR in itself can be a sport in itself. And what that means is there are 6 areas that you can really get better at in HR, as a person, with the team, and they are, in this order, your skill set, your endurance to do it, your working out to do it, your conditioning, your speed, the diet, what kind of things that you do. Just like being here at this conference, you're getting a diet of information, okay? And then your rest. How much time do you ponder where you want to go? So I want to hit on some things that analogize HR as a sport and how you can be better as an HR manager.
Well, great. Now, we mentioned that AdSquared Network. Can you tell a little bit about what the mission there is for AdSquared Network?
Sure. AdSquared Networks is a business and personal development. So with business development, it really goes into doing the motivation, working out with people who have teams, people who have networks, people who want to build their networks. As a personal development, it goes into the person themselves, in some life skills, into setting goals, into doing things and being the best that you can be. High performance. I've been around high performance all my life.
Yeah.
I try to talk that, not just to athletes, I try to talk that to people, being the best you can be. And what does that take? It's not just setting a goal, it's what your behavior is. It's just what you do. And that's what it really comes down to as in professional sports.
Sure. Well, obviously you have not only a very interesting and storied background on the business end, but also on the football end. So I want to make sure I get this right here. In 1985, you were, sorry everybody, Philadelphia Eagles, so we won't hold that against you, but you were actually named the Eagles Man of the Year Award. So that's obviously a very prestigious honor. And I know that's carried through today because you're still involved in a lot of off the field and off the corporate type volunteer activity. Can you expound on that a little bit?
Yeah, it's the way you're raised, what I've seen growing up. I was fortunate, a lot of the ways that I got to the NFL or got even to college, to Villanova and Ohio State, wasn't the normal route. So I know that sometimes you are going to be measured by your decisions you make, and the options you have to make that decision is really sometimes your reality. That's all you have. And so I try to look at young people, people in transition, really, and that's what AdSquared Networks is really trying to deal with, the people in transition. When they get to that point where they have to make a decision, what are they basing that decision on? What's their reference? And so with people who are out there, before they even get to the point where they want to play sports or they want to go into a profession, they're still making decisions, and they're young people. And so I deal with a lot of young people, even mentally challenged people, development disabilities, because I think that their decisions are weighed differently. I think they have a lot more to deal with, a lot more that is put on them. So I try to put myself out there, not just because I played or what have you, but if that gives me a little limelight, that brings attention to that group, great. That's what I try to do.
Great. Dream Sleep Network, I know that's something else that you're involved in. Can you expound on that a little bit as well?
Dream Sleep Network is something that I got involved in helping them with their mission. Their mission is to bring about awareness of the sleep apnea disorder, okay? And I've learned so much about that when people have that disorder, sometimes they don't know it. There isn't really a cure for it. There's things you can live with it, a CPAP, what have you, a mechanism that goes in your mouth. So the whole sleep thing that all humans have to do, all living animals have to do, is something that is sometimes undervalued. We all sometimes try to be tough and try to grit it out. I don't need any sleep, I don't need this, but you really do. And you need rest. And with that, it goes into the things I was talking about earlier on how you have to rest to achieve your goals.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's have a little bit of fun here for a little bit. So if the Steelers are playing the Browns, who are you rooting for?
Well, the Steelers.
Be honest. I know.
I'm rooting for the Browns.
There's no delay.
There's no delay.
How about the Eagles and the Steelers?
Oh, wow.
Let's see what we're going to rate here. No, no.
I like the Eagles. Okay, I have to go with the Eagles. Okay.
That's fine. That's fine. Now, when did you coach here?
I coached the Steelers in 1992. I came in when Bill Carroll was here, and I coached till 2005. It was a great opportunity. My background, I didn't get a chance to play in a Super Bowl, but I went to Super Bowl in '98 with them. Then we didn't win that. And then after I left, they won it the next year. So it happens like that.
Now, you might actually turn out to be pretty prophetic, because back in May of this year, you were actually quoted as saying that the Cleveland Browns are going to surprise a lot of people this year. I'm talking playoffs. So thinking back on that, what are your thoughts regarding that now?
I still say it. I still say now. I didn't put a date in there when the playoffs would happen.
Oh, okay. A little bit of wiggle room
this
there.
year, yeah, exactly. But I think that they're good enough. They're showing people. They have surprised people.
Yeah.
They won a game. Okay, let's put it that way. They won a game. They tied a game. They overtime.
Yeah.
So they're a lot better than they were before. And so my point of saying that is just to get people aware. There's a lot of room in the bandwagon right now. There won't be in another couple years. There won't be as much room.
Yeah. Well, they're tied with the Steelers too, so for whatever that's worth. Now, all kidding aside, obviously, great history as far as in sports. You're doing a lot now, volunteer. On the corporate side, you obviously have a family, I believe 4 kids. If you have just a day where you can spend with the wife and the kids, what's your ideal day?
Well, to be honest with you, it would probably be like movies. There would be some food involved somewhere, okay? We would have some lunch, probably at a good barbecue place or something like that, and then go into a movie, relaxing. My kids are involved in sports. I go there and cheer, and that's the greatest thing for me to do on a day off. As a matter of fact, the son has a game. I'll go see him tonight and watch him develop into what he wants to do.
He playing football?
He plays basketball.
Oh, okay.
He plays basketball.
Now, did you play basketball in your past?
No, I did not. I'm learning as I'm watching him, and as I go into practice, I'm learning about a lot of things.
Yeah.
So, but it's just relaxing. We do travel. We have some of our kids are different places, so just traveling around, getting them together, really valuing that time. That's very important to me.
That's great. So one last question, then we'll wrap it up so we can get you ready for the keynote. Obviously, as a Steeler fan, we do go up to Cleveland at least once a year, and I understand, and maybe we can give some helpful advice to Steeler fans that go up to Cleveland that like Italian food. You have a restaurant recommendation for them up in Cleveland?
I sure do. It's Bruno's Restaurant over on the west side, on West 41st Street. Okay, Bruno's Restaurant. It's the greatest. Go up there, tell them Anthony Griggs. No, go up there and tell them AG sent you. Okay, and they'll take care of you. But really, you get up there, we'll have some on me.
Now that I'm in the inner circle, I appreciate it. But
I didn't really say that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, but we are looking forward to HR as a sport. Win it. Looking forward to a great keynote. And Anthony, I certainly appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time.
Enjoy it.
Thank you
very much.